The winds just making things worse, and they keep coming, Willie.
Yeah, they actually were a little bit better than forecast yesterday, but today is shaping up to be a really difficult day. The death toll from those wildfires now has climbed to 25. This comes as crews are dealing with strong Santa Ana winds that have ignited new fires, many of which are under control. The winds expected to last until tomorrow. As of now, the largest of the wildfires, the Palisades fires, 18% contained. The Eaton fire is at 35% containment. In all, the fires have swept through 40,000 acres, nearly the size now as Washington, D.C. Joining us live from Altadena, California, is NBC's Steve Patterson. Steve, good morning. What's the latest there?
Willie, good morning to you. The devastation here is just endless. These are some of the same images that you've been seeing, of course, all week long. It's now been more than a week since these fires started, and now firefighters are worried about what the National Weather Service has warned us about, which is this particularly dangerous situation. That is the designation that they are now saying we are under. It's been about the last 48 hours or so. It's resulted in several spot fires, several brush fires, but as you mentioned, a little bit lesser than we expected so far. The winds, though, expected to pick up again in just a few hours. We are maybe within the last few hours of this designation, but they could be the worst hours that we've seen so far. The winds expected to be heavier again. The humidity very low. It's very dangerous fire weather, especially for firefighters who are doing their best to put out the fires that have already started, that are still going. The Eaton fire, the Palisades fire, both still with containment left to go. Until they get those fires completely down, it is not safe for most residents to come back here. So residents still heartbroken. Obviously, they want to see the results of the damage. They want to see what their home looks like. They want to start the process of insurance and everything that comes with it. It's a very long journey for thousands and thousands of people who are impacted by this fire. But the fires are not out yet. 35% containment where I'm standing at the Eaton fire, 18% containment at the Palisades fire. But with these wind events, again, expected to raise the danger over the next few hours. Firefighters are doing all they can to make sure hot spots are suppressed and looking out across the region because it covers such a large swath of Southern California for any possibility that a new fire may start, that embers from an old fire may cause a new fire, that the front of these fires doesn't shift to somewhere else as they put more containment down on these fires. Meanwhile, the insurance process, of course, starting for a lot of homeowners trying to contact FEMA and get that process started. The emergency funds that are available for homeowners need to be available and readily so. But meanwhile, the investigation has started as well. The ATF leading the Palisades investigation. There have been multiple lawsuits here at the Eaton fire, at the energy company, SoCal Energy. But meanwhile, firefighters doing the best they can to first get this major operation, which is the firefight itself, under control. When that happens, then we can move on and start talking about everything else, guys.
Yeah, the firefighters doing heroic around-the-clock work. There is a new report just this morning from the LA Times, though, about a lack of preparation when we saw these winds kicking up and the fires beginning, that some engines could have been put in place in Palisades, Pacific Palisades, that were not. So there will be big questions, but for now, we hope they can get those fires under control. Steve Patterson in Altadena. Steve, thanks so much. Let's go over to meteorologist Angie Lassman for a look at those winds today. Angie, what are you seeing?
Hi there, Willie. We're seeing just what Steve said, basically a fluctuation. So we've got these four main fires that we're watching. We are still dealing with that red flag warning, as Steve said. 10 million people right now, though, under that risk. It stretches from San Luis Obispo all the way down to the border. Winds have, as expected, ramped up over the past 24 hours. So 45 to 65 mile per hour gusts is what we're expecting for the peak of today. But notice the areas that we're looking at, that particularly dangerous situation wording, that extra level of danger, because we do have those extremely critical fire conditions in these places. So parts of the San Gabriel Mountains, Simi Valley, San Fernando Valley, those are some of the spots stretching up into Ventura where we'll still see that high risk for these kind of large explosives fires to grow at a rapid pace. The current wind speeds right now, 10, 15, 20 miles per hour for the most part. We've got a couple of spots, especially up in the higher elevations, that are gusting about 50 plus miles per hour. That's going to ramp up, especially as we get past 4 a.m. Pacific time. Notice as we head into the later morning hours, those peak gusts closer to 65 miles per hour. Humidity levels around 15 to 30%, so a slight uptick. We're going to see a better uptick here in the humidity levels as we move forward through the week. But for now, we kind of fluctuate between 10-15% humidity levels, so we don't have a whole lot of relief from that. But later in the afternoon, specifically into the evening hours, we will start to see relief when it comes to the wind. So 20, 30, 40 mile per hour gusts for the later parts of the afternoon. Overnight tonight, notice those peak wind gusts. They get down to 35 miles per hour. Willie, the good news is also closer to the coast. We'll see those 10, 15 miles per hour. So there will be some improvements, but we got to get through the morning first.
All right, Angie, we'll be watching closely along with you. Angie Lastman, thanks so much. We appreciate it, guys.